Welcome, everyone. We are here today with Tina Zion, and I am the host, Caroline Rudderman. So, we are here together on the We Are One Summit, Inner Peace, to build a better planet. I am so happy that you're here today joining us, Tina.
You.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I have to say that I am a huge fan of your work, and I have
Oh,
three of your medical intuition books. So
thank you.
I'm really just beyond charmed to be able to chat with you and, to pick your
Uh,
brain. Because sometimes when we have, a little bit of distance between us and another person, even if it's through their words, through that book, it's just really nice to be able to like connect directly. And so
mhm, mhm,
I'm just, yeah, I'm really grateful for all the work that you've laid down, all the pathways that you've laid down for more and more
mhm.
people to be able to come to their inner knowing. And yeah, so I just want to start off by saying thank you.
Well, that's a way different beginning, but I'm really feeling that in my heart. So thank you.
Very welcome. So tell us a little bit about how you know inner peace to change your outer surroundings.
Oh, that's a big question already. How do I know inner peace? I think a lot of people might call it confidence. It's just feeling um, comfortable. So comfortable and confidence inside of your own body, inside of your own mind, inside of your own emotions. And so the more I am out there publicly, I've noticed that the calmer I get and I feel very, very confident because of a lot of experience too. Uh, that has led to my teachings for my books and my courses and things like that. So I would say kind of all those confidence, calm, and things like that, I guess.
Yeah. And how have you, in your teachings and in your books and everything, how have you noticed that confidence and that calm has impacted the spaces that you hold? How do other people respond to you? How do animals respond to you? Um, how do trees respond? Like, how does the world around you respond to your calm and your
Uh,
confidence? And maybe you don't have an answer, but I think you
no,
might.
I love that. That's a very different question that no one's asked me, and I love the newness of this question. Um, as far as animals, I when I teach medical intuition, people have come up to me in my course and say it's almost like they're confessing that they have no intentions of working with people; they want to work with animals. And I'll say it's exactly the same, and the difference is that animals will tend to send us images, split second moments in their memory, and things like that, where people will tend to use more words. And so I've noticed that. I was like somewhere yesterday, and this beautiful dog just met me at the door and leaned against me. So that was an example just from yesterday. And so, I just talked to her and rubbed her and stuff like that. And it was, but notice that leaning on me, and even the persons whose dog that was said, she doesn't do that usually to people, except for her, except for the people she lives with. That so I've noticed that, and that's just an example, gosh, from yesterday.
Mhm.
And what I can tell you is that as far as people, I get so much genuine, loving appreciation uh, verbally from people, and lots of examples, and I get a lot of emails, and my ratings, I guess, show it. So people really give back to me. In fact, I think I barely do anything compared to the volume of appreciation that I receive. And so then I hear things like, life changing, or I've opened up my eyes in a different way, or I understand my physical body in a different way. So I don't know if that answers your question, but boy, that's what rises up for me.
Mm. Yeah. I think that one of the really profound things that you're kind of talking about here is it's almost just like what I'm hearing is like when you have that calm confidence, it's almost easier to receive love.
I had a hard time though for a long time. I really did. I felt very shy about it and kind of hiding and things like that, especially if I'm in a room, a large room with a lot of people for my courses. I felt very shy about it. But the more confident I've become, I'm trying to receive it, and I'm still in process about this. To be deeply honest, I'm still in a process of trying to receive this back into my heart because I feel like I give from my heart so much, and so I'm working on, but I'm a lot better now
Yeah.
to actually receive back.
Yeah.
But I have to work on it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
T-
yeah.
Tina, what is your process now of continually learning how to like deepen your receiving? What kind of little techniques and fun stuff do you like to do for yourself?
A lot of it comes through emails. And so I would used to, when I was struggling more to receive back, I would just read it really fast and then delete it.
Hmm.
And or thank them, and then delete it really fast. And now I let those emails, this is just one example, sit there, for a few days or so, and I'll go back. Now, I haven't even thought about this, but this is what I'm doing. I'll go back and read it more slowly because so many times it's a paragraph or a page, even, and things like that. And I try to really hear the person and really understand them. One of the things I say to my um, clients and students is I listen to every single word that they say. So I think true listening has a lot to do with our connections with people. And people struggle to listen. They kind of blank out and things like that. But every word is an electrical signal. Every word is that we think or say out loud is an electrical surge through our body and our energy field and out into the world. So words are very, very important. Every word and then every phrase or every sentence creates an electrical signal, is what I would say.
Yeah. So I love that you're allowing yourself to really like sit with the vibration of what people are, offering to you in those emails, and you're just letting yourself kind of immerse. Like it's just like you're letting yourself dip into this other person's tea bag of love for you as you're learning how to
Oh,
receive
I
it.
love that tea bag of love. Well,
Yeah.
and the other thing too, well, so that's what I do with the written word. But when people say those things from me or to me verbally, I just kind of try to inhale it and just, really receive it. And that's really, I think that really helps me to keep going at my age and to feel like I'm receiving equal to what I give. And that's really key is to receive equal to what we give.
Do you think there is an equal balance between the two? Is there a space where I ask the question because I feel like it's such a flux, and it's like, how do you find there's periods where I'm giving so much, and then there's periods where I'm like, okay, spirit guides, I just need to receive, like, and then it all comes flooding in. But like, how does that between giving and receiving, how does that flow? How does that equality look for you? How does that feel for you?
Well, it used to be because I've been doing this level of work for probably, 25, 30 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So it used to be there was no balance at all. I was shy and just tried to, oh, don't say those things to me and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but now if we really allow ourselves to receive back, that is everything's energy. And that re-energizes ourselves as we are also helping others to regenerate themselves. So that's really key to that, is to really listen, but also let yourself absorb, because everything's energy. Let yourself absorb the energy of what they said and the look on their faces and things like that.
Beautiful. Um, do you do this with, because nature doesn't tend to work in words the same way that, humans are verbalizing and babbling back and forth to one another? Do you tend to do this in natural settings of giving and receiving these kind of electrical impulses, or does it tend to be among humans and animals? Like, yeah, does that extend onto planetary or Earth?
Oh, yeah, it extends to people I don't even know. Like I was at a nursing home earlier today, and I just stopped and asked the cleaning woman, how are you doing today? And somebody was in a wheelchair, and I'm there a lot, so I know the people. And I'm this woman in a wheelchair too. I said, "Do you realize you know everybody here?" And she said, "Yes, I do." And that's like her job
Yeah.
there. And, and so I sense it in all kinds of environments. I also live out in the country. And I think because of that sensitivity, I would struggle living in Manhattan or someplace, or some big busy place. Because here, I have looked out, I've asked the universe for an answer to something. So I'll say that. And, 2 hours later, I looked out and there was a massive, the biggest one I've ever seen, coyote in my yard. It looked like really more like a wolf. And then another day, there are 9 deer out there, and I watch their movement. And so I speak to them, and I've gone out in the yard and they just stand there because I'm sending, energetic signals to them. And I think they know that my land here is a sacred space, to hang out and eat, have their babies and things like that. So I don't know, I enjoy, like I enjoyed being in the nursing home today, talking to people in wheelchairs and cleaning people and things like that. I don't know, I didn't even think about it until you said that. It just seems natural to me to connect
Yeah,
with other people.
yeah. I love that. It's it's such a sometimes the stuff that we're doing is so subtle that like when we take a moment to be like, oh, like what are our rituals? What are these kind of very personal practices? Speaking them out loud almost just acknowledges that kind of the little like magical sprinkles that we have throughout the day. So I always appreciate
Um,
getting to know people's inner world in that way because it's really, I mean, it's so powerful and it's so palpable, but it's often not discussed as much as it could be.
No, no, in fact, I don't know of really anyone who discusses it. And so I'm really
Me
enjoying
too.
our talk together right now. It's interesting that you said, what'd you say, sprinkles a minute ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I talk to people about um, sending out sparkles.
Oh,
And it's kind of similar to what you just said. And we've never talked about this beforehand or anything, but it's very, very similar, sprinkles and sparkles.
very cool. So Tina, tell us a little bit about what you have, like kind of what you're offering into the world right now, what's coming up for you. Yeah, I'd love to kind of have you share a little bit about some of your offerings.
Oh my goodness. Um, well, first of all, I have 5 books that I've written. I just turned book number 6 into my publisher, and but it'll won't be out for a little bit. But I start out I guess in my 60s was I was in my 60s before I even wrote my first book,
Wow.
and I started out with a Reiki book. And then because of the healing that I kept seeing and noticing and happening, I wrote Become a Medical Intuitive book. And then I wrote an advanced medical intuitive book. And then I wrote another Reiki book because I noticed how Reiki and your intuition just very naturally intermingles. Some people don't think that, but I just keep noted. I just write books about what I keep noticing that works,
Yeah.
mentioning things that don't work and things like that. And so my next book, I grew up in a family where being a medium, we didn't even use that term. We always able to see deceased people and communicate with them and stuff. Uh, so I realized that I teach that too, and how this all just kind of began with Reiki, but intermingled. And so my book number 6 is about working with the deceased, and especially the troubled deceased, because there are some troubled ones. And I always want to help people realize that they can be so helpful in a healing way to others, in physical or in the non-physical. So, so
Yeah.
that's what my books, and then I'm just beginning to teach my live in-person courses. And a couple of them are actually, they call it hybrid now. We'll be on Zoom and live and in person. So my year of teaching is just about to begin the first weekend of March, I think.
Very cool. Do you want to shout out some of the places that, well, everything is probably also on your website, right? Is
Yes,
for your teaching, upcoming teaching and books and everything.
yes. My website is just tinazion.com. And there you'll see my calendar and things like that. So yeah, I'll be in Chicago. I'm multiple times in different places in New York State, and then some Zoom classes and things like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks
Um,
for asking me.
Yeah, well, I always like to, and there's also for the We Are One Summit folks, there's also a little free gift as well. So, and that will be right on your website. So we'll make sure to
Yes.
link all of that information for folks to be able to get a little something special from Tina to you.
Well, that little gift is really about key points. I think there's 15, I think, key points to understand how intuitive all of us are. It's not, I have no special gifts, believe me. I tell people that all the time because we're naturally intuitive. We just have to notice it. So most of the time, I just tell people, I think really what I mainly teach is how to notice the very, very subtle is really what I think I teach. And so it's the 15 points that I think are the most important about intuition. And then there's like a little slideshow with it. So
Very cool. Very cool.
mm,
And I think that kind of circles back to what you were talking about with being a listener. When you're
mm,
like, oh,
mm,
oftentimes we don't really give ourselves the spaciousness to really listen, to very deeply
yes,
listen.
yes.
And I think that, when you're talking about, when I talk about intuition, I say the same thing. I'm just like, I'm a really good listener, like people who have spent a lot of time really very, um, carefully tasting food and beverages,
Mm,
they
mhm.
develop like not only a vocabulary, but they're really sitting with what is happening in that sense awareness of their mouth. People
Oh, I
who
like
are
that.
audio
Yes.
engineers are really spending a lot of time deeply listening.
Deeply. Yes.
And it's very inspiring when you can do that from a heart space. Because I think
Mhm.
intuition, and maybe you have a different viewpoint on it. Of course, third eye, right? But for me, so much of it is heart space. It's like I get such a different gravity when I'm listening from here and it's
Mm,
kind of it's all over. But I don't
Mm.
know, do you have any thoughts on well, people could definitely check out your 15-point free gift and all of that to kind of
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
basics to it. Where do you
Mhm.
tend to listen from when you are doing your listening?
Um, that's a very unique question. Is really with my whole being, with my whole body, because when we call ourselves good listeners, and some people call themselves good talkers too, that it's an energy. See, everything's energy. So we're really having not just a word exchange, we're really having an exchange also of energy. So as someone speaks to you and I speak back to a person, we're having a very phenomenal energy exchange too, not just these words, but the words are symbolic of energy frequencies. So again, I'm trying to, I guess, receive also with my heart, but trying to receive mostly, it's almost like a full body experience, I think I would say.
Beautiful. Well, Tina, would you be open to leading us through a little tiny exercise so that we can start to experience some of your magic and how you, yeah, anything that you'd like, kind of like to guide us through, a little exercise. It doesn't necessarily have to be about deep listening, but anything that you feel inspired by.
Well, thank you. Yes, yes. Yes, if everyone would just let yourself slow down for a minute and just begin by noticing what that really feels like to slow down. You're only going to need to slow down for just a few moments. And I ask that as you allow yourself, because it is an allowing, allow yourself to have a moment of slowing down and feel your breath slowing down. There's a reason why meditation and everybody that teaches these things talk about their breath, because it's the first thing we do as we come into this earth plane, and it's the last thing we do as we come into this earth plane. And the in between of those two moments is very, very special as we listen, but also feel our breath coming in. I ask that really intuition is simply noticing more quietly, just noticing the subtle. So I ask that you just notice the feel of air coming in, because it has like a substance. So you inhale, and when you really notice, slow down and notice the detail, you'll notice as you inhale that you'll notice that like that pathway of air coming in, and it touches the back of your throat. So just notice that little part of inhaling. Then, when you notice inhaling even more, that coolness touches the back of your throat, but then it enters down into your physical body and becomes very warm and rich. So just notice when you inhale where that coolness changes and shifts into a warm richness inside of you. Just notice the location of that inside of you. And then shift your awareness Do every time that you exhale. And when you exhale, you are truly, truly releasing. And even that feels warm and rich as you release. And with your mind, you can allow something to pop in that you really need to release. So send that out as you exhale. Mhm. And then shift back into noticing when you inhale, you are receiving and receiving and receiving. From this point forward, notice that it is a balanced exchange between receiving and releasing. And notice that we probably only did that for maybe 2 minutes.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I could feel my system shift very, very quickly. I noticed it was up a little bit and then just kind of coming down into those spaces, and I felt myself sinking deeper and deeper, and it felt really good.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I was doing it, whenever I do these things, I'm doing it too. So I felt something very similar.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
thank you
I've
for
never described it that way before either. So that was a very new way to even describe it to people.
yeah. Yeah. That's what spontaneity is, right? That's like pure creativity. Just comes through us.
Yes.
So my last question, well, maybe second to last question. I can never guarantee how many questions I'll have because that is
Okay.
my one of my superpowers. What is something, Tina, that you would tell your younger self as a spiritual entrepreneur, a as someone who is kind of awakening to these pathways and continuing these lineages of generational mediumship? What is something that you would tell your younger self as you're on any stage of this path?
Oh, wow. I would tell my younger self, especially this, that everything is energy. Even we living humans, my divine and sacred are always telling me that we get so caught up in our physical body and our physical stuff. But really, this is what they keep telling me, only about 30% of ourselves is a physical being. That leaves a whole lot of percentage, 60, 70%, that we are energy beings. And to perceive other energy beings is very, very natural. And I was very, I guess, gifted to understand the physical world and the non-physical world in such a natural way. So I would say, to my younger self, that it's very, very natural. And to go out there, you're going to go out there and teach people, hopefully, that when you get older, that you are teaching them how to be very, very natural. We're much more an energy being. That's that aliveness of our soul than we are a physical body. And we get real caught up because we're in the physical world and a physical body, but there's so much more happening.
Yeah, gorgeous. And any last words that you would like to throw out there? Again, how people can find you, or anything else that that feels relevant to tying up our conversation today?
The only thing I can think of is that when you go to my site, to please, please, please consider getting on. I have two newsletters. One's about living aware, and the other one is for Reiki. The one for Reiki, you will get, gosh, I think I have 24 different Reiki teachings. So the first 24 newsletters that you get will be about Reiki. And then the other newsletter will be, tips about being intuitive, but it will also have where I'm teaching next. And so please consider getting on from my newsletters. That'd be wonderful.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, for meeting us today and speaking so openly. I really have just deeply enjoyed getting to know you and sitting with you in this space together.
Well, and want to give back to you. I want you to realize you're focusing on such a different way here for this. And I love that uniqueness, and you're very unique. So thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. We're all here to bring our gifts to the table.
Mhm, mhm.
Beautiful. I always feel like, why withhold our gifts? It's like if like that person, that carpenter withheld their gifts, we would not have all this like beautiful architecture. If that person withheld their gifts, like we probably wouldn't have all these amazing little potted plants in our house. Like,
No,
it's just so nice to be able to share what we do. And I ask a lot of questions, and so
yes, you do.
conversations
But
happen.
they're really good questions, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
All right. Well, everybody, please go and check out Tina Zion. The link is also going to be right below the interview, as well as her bio and a little bit more information. So thanks for joining us today, everyone. All right, and be well.